Radiant team ban.
Hey guys, it's me, LD. I know I've been gone for a very long time, but I am finally coming to you with a Pro Dota 2 commentary. I do apologize very profusely to
Dire
everyone
team
who's been,
ban.
checking the channel and looking for commentaries and just not seeing them. I guess it's been almost 2 weeks at this point. Man, that's really bad by me. I do have a couple of excuses, but before I go into my reasons for not casting quite so much recently, let's introduce the match that we are going to be casting today. Today's match is between EHOME and DK. This is a replay cast. This match was played, I believe, for the Gigabyte
Radiant
Dota
team
Masters
ban.
Grand Finals, which was a best out of three. I actually don't know offhand which game this was. I think this was game number 3, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I will put the correct information in the YouTube VOD. So you can definitely check out the info right below this video if you want to confirm the details of when the match was played. With all that being said, I have not been casting much recently. In fact, I have not been really putting
Dire
out any
team
content.
ban.
I've streamed a couple pub games here or there. I really haven't had a chance to play, cast, or watch Dota too much for the past 2 weeks, which is a huge shame. I did manage to catch a couple of Saint's casts for the GD studio while I was doing some work, and they're pretty fantastic. Just to get the insight from Saint, so a player of that caliber is always, amazing. But aside from that, I've just not been able to cast or really watch Dota. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, I'm
10
applying to grad
seconds
school in the
remaining.
fall, or at least looking into it. So I've been very busy researching schools, studying for the grad school
Radiant
board
team
exams,
ban.
and figuring out my finances. All the things that go into applying to school. So there's that. I've also been very busy with work. I've picked up a couple of sort of what I do is my work is consulting based, so it kind of ebbs and flows. And recently, I've had a couple of projects going out once, and one of them a deadline's coming up in the next, I think it's a week at this
Dire
point.
team
And
ban.
so I've been working pretty furiously on that for the past 3-4 weeks or so.
Radiant
Aside from
team
that, I've
pick.
had some personal dramas. I don't want to bore you guys too much with those,
Invoker.
as we see Invoker getting picked up.
Dire team
But
pick.
yeah, so basically, I have a long list of reasons. All the excuses aside, I will not abandon you guys for this long again. I promise I'm at least going to put out, let's say, 2 or 3 commentaries a week for the foreseeable future. I may actually do a lot more, but I don't want to promise that. It really depends on, what my work schedule looks like, and that's at this point, it's kind of in flux. It depends how this project turns out. I can't really go into the details, but suffice it to say, you might not get as much
10
content
seconds remaining.
as I've put out in the past, at least for the next month or so. But I'll at least
5
give you guys
seconds
something.
remaining.
Definitely more than I have been doing. With all that being said, that's pretty much what's been going on with me. There
Reserve
have been a lot
time.
of changes in the Dota scene, some rosters changing here and there, and most importantly, the invites for the international are starting to unfold. In fact, I'm going to check right now because last that I checked, there were only 2 invites left
Reserve
to be
time.
announced. Yep, so the
Morphling.
latest round of 4 teams, if you haven't heard about it already,
Radiant
EG,
team pick.
Zenith, Dare, and LGD have all gotten the invite to the international. EHOME and DK, the 2 teams we'll be watching today, have already been invited. So with LGD being added as well, first of all, I got to say I love LGD. I think they're going to make quite a splash at the international. I know they haven't been the most successful recently, and I haven't heard too much about them in Dota 1. They haven't looked too sharp in Dota 2. But I can tell you, I've watched enough of them in Dota 1 from last
10
year and early
seconds
this year
remaining.
to guarantee that they will certainly be a different team come the international, as well a
5
lot of these teams,
seconds
but
remaining.
especially the Chinese. And EHOME and DK are a little bit farther along that path towards sort of getting
Reserve
comfortable and
time.
used to Dota 2, at least from the matches I've watched. Again, I'm a little out of date, so that could be totally off base. But that's what I have noticed. I'm also really excited about Zenith. They recently added Loaded to their roster. And frankly, I think that's going to be a fantastic addition to the international. Not so sure how I feel about Dare. They do have art style. They've got the art style factor going for them, and certainly the players on that team are capable of performing well. But they have not shown many results at all, and the roster's been all over the place. But hey, you got to throw a bone to the Eastern European scene. It's probably the biggest after China. You could throw the Philippines in there as number 2, but aside from those 2, Eastern Europe is definitely where it's at for Dota. So I'm very excited about all the teams that are getting added. The international looks like it's shaping up to be a fantastic tournament. I'm expecting maybe Mouse and MTW will get the last 2 invites. Anyway, that's enough talk about things unrelated to this game. I just wanted to mention I'm really excited about the international. And, I'm so excited. But yeah, let's focus on this game. So, I'm tabbing back into the game. EHOME has elected to ban out. Let's see, as this draft has actually been proceeding very slowly. Fortunate for me. Let's see, what have they banned? Panda, Darkseer, Anti-Mage.
Slardar.
Reserve
Nothing too
time.
surprising. Of course, you don't really want to give Burning any sort of a hard carry, but if you're going to give him one, probably
Dire
have it not
team
be
pick.
Anti-Mage. The ban certainly makes sense. I guess the picks are coming fast and furious, so we'll talk about those. Invoker, Enigma, and Slardar. So they have a lot of crowd control. some decent early push in the Enigma, some amazing teamfight potential between the Slither and Crush. Of course, the Invoker. If he chooses to go Quas Exhort, he'll have the Ice Wall, he'll have the Meteor once he gets a single point W, the Deafening Blast to work with. If he goes for Quas Wex, of course, EMP Tornado. You combo that with the Black Hole, it's a lot of strong initiation. It's interesting that they banned the Darkseer. Now, of course, they had the first pick, but apparently they didn't want to first pick him. And I say it's interesting because we've seen Darkseer plus Enigma can be such a powerful combination. I love the fact that they banned out the Panda, though, and then went and picked up the Enigma. Now, of course, Panda's worth the ban anyway. But I cast a game with Luminous a couple weeks back where a Panda was picked up versus an Enigma, and PGG was actually played it, and he tried to Black Hole next to Panda, who had already dropped his ult like 3 or 4 times. And if you don't know already, Black Hole will not affect the Pandar and Brewmaster when he's in ult form. The Panda Ancients can just do whatever they want, so the ult got immediately canceled with Boulder Toss. The only solution is to get a BKB on Enigma. Anyway, I'm really glad that they banned that out. So they're gonna have a lot of team fight. If we take a look at DK, a little bit more gank oriented, very defensive heroes to start off with. Of course, Morphling's always hard to bring down. He's got what I like to say are the most escape mechanisms in the game. I say he's 4. You count Waveform, you count Strength Morph, Replicate. Of course, these are all escape mechanisms. And then, in my opinion, you also have to consider Adaptive Strike a semi-escape mechanism. Especially if you're morphing to Strength, it's a pretty decent stun and it'll push them back. So Morphling, very hard to lock down. Of course, with Earthshaker, one of the best defensive support heroes in the game, as well as Vengeful, who provides you a little bit of roaming. So it looks like so far DK wants to turn this into a longer game, wants to be farming a decent amount, and hopefully holding on to their towers. EHOME picking a more sort of aggressive mid-game lineup. If the game goes late enough, Morphling is still the hardest carry on the map. But of course, that's not going to matter if EHOME gets a good start. Now, Slardar is one of the better ways to deal with Morphling because first of all, you get Amplify Damage, which is a great way to remove Lincoln Sphere, and that's the common item on Morphling, and this is a Chinese Morphling, so if anyone's going to get a Lincoln Sphere, it's probably a Chinese Morphling.
10 seconds
On top of
remaining.
that, if you actually get the Amplify Damage to hit on him, it removes one of
5
Morphling's natural
seconds remaining.
strong defensive capabilities, which is his really high base armor, especially when he morphs to agility.
Radiant team pick.
Additionally, Slither and Crush cannot be blocked by Lincoln Sphere. It's very reliable disable, plus Sprint allows you to chase him down. So Slardar is one of the better ways to deal with Morphling, and I expect it will be effective. Another thing to note here is DK did pick up Vengeful Spirit. They might have been concerned about EHOME going for a minus armor strat. Now they already have Slardar. They already have Invoker, who can be minus armor or provide minus armor with the Forged Spirits. If you throw a Vengeful Spirit into the mix, that's looking pretty scary, especially if there's a Medallion of Courage. So I'm not sure if that pick was meant to deny the Venge to EHOME. Now, of course, it also counters the Enigma, but I'm trying to think outside the box here, guys, so bear with me. Yeah, and if I already mentioned it, but I am a little bit rusty, so I apologize in advance if it is not the sharpest cast I've ever had, but I will try to get into the flow of things as the game progresses. So
5 seconds remaining.
Anyway, that'll do it for the talking about these 6 picks. I think we've said quite a bit about those. Dazzle! Oh, so they are going for that minus armor, and I mean, I think that's what they have in mind. Now, of course, Dazzle is a nice hero in general. He's a pretty good pushing hero because of that Shadow Wave. Shallow Grave can be very frustrating if someone's trying to, if someone's low and running away. It allows you to be a little bit more aggressive on their towers. It punishes your opponents for diving. Man, he is an ugly mother, isn't he? I actually disabled my mouse cursor because people find it too spastic. But I will draw on the map if appropriate. But I'm furiously circling the Dazzle right now. Man, he looks like a dinosaur. That's a lot of teeth. Anyway, I think this is being thrown in there as another minus armor hero. Now they have a lot of heroes that want levels and farm. Dazzle can play support, but he's really, as far as supports goes, you want to max the Grave because the range and the cooldown goes down immensely, and I believe it's from 60 to 15 seconds, and the range, perhaps more importantly, goes from like 450 to
10 seconds.
I want to say it's like 1200. It gets a lot larger, so you can cast Grave from much farther back. On top of that, the heal's really good when it's max. The poison's really good when it's max. And hey, we talked about the minus armor. The minus armor, the ult you normally don't get until level 10, 11 at the earliest, if not later. So for a support hero, Dazzle is very XP dependent, farm dependent. And then you're throwing a Broodmother into the mix. Man, this is a greedy lineup. And I think the last lineup I cast, which was this greedy, was Huh. Yeah, it was a game that Fnatic played, and they got stopped. Now, of course, this is
10
EHOME.
seconds
Certainly a
remaining.
more accomplished Dota team than the Fnatic squad. But nonetheless,
5
it's a
seconds
greedy lineup. At
remaining.
the same time, DK got a morphling, so there's always the potential. You know, DK wants to go late,
Reserve
but
time.
do they really want to go late against this many heroes that are, you know, there's no super late game heroes on EHOME, but if you have enough decent to, you know, powerful mid game heroes, if they get enough farm, it's not going to matter if the morphling, you know, has a 70-minute game. So we'll have to see how it plays out. DK really thinking about their last pick here, taking a lot of time. They went with an ancient apparition. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to lane this. The common way the Chinese teams like to lane an ancient apparition earthshaker is to have those two sort of roam together and be a nice 1-2 punch. They might start off in a tri lane with the morphling and then roam. But if you do that, I mean, who's gonna, you know, how are the other lanes gonna go? I guess Sand King could take a solo, Venge could take a solo. They could have the AA solo mid, you know, the Venge paired with the Earthshaker. They could have the Sand King as a support. I don't think we'll see that. There's a lot of different ways DK could run this. I mean, it's also perplexing if you look at EHOME. What are they going to do with their lanes? Well, we'll talk about that in just a second. I actually have to fix my camera here as it is on directed mode. So yeah, there is going to be a bit of a pause. Hopefully it's not too long. If it is, we will speed up. But for now, let's introduce the players real quickly. For DK, we have rotk handling that Sand King, Burning, of course, playing that Morphling. He'll be farming it up. Zippo on an Earthshaker has not purchased anything just yet. Super on that Ancient Apparition. And longdd playing that Vengeful Spirit. Meanwhile, for the Radiant, we have EHOME, and man, that fountain is quite loud. lanm going to be on that Shadow Priest. Cupid Cat going to be playing that Slardar. MMY is going to be on the Invoker. kingj on the Broodmother, and QQQ on that Enigma. Man, that fountain is loud. I don't know why the birds are chirping. This is dire territory, but yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and just speed this up a little bit, as I have a feeling this might be a long pause. I will cover up the replay timer in the VOD, so let's have a quick pause and quick unpause. Yeah, but I'm not sure how either team is going to lane it. I mean, I'm guessing we'll see Enigma in the jungle for the... Whoa. Huh. Oh, your camera moves faster when it's paused. That is very bizarre. Alright, well, it is going to be a support Vengeful Spirit. Interesting. As we see Morphling, Ancient Apparition, and Sand King headed down towards the bottom lane. Looks like they want to make sure they get this pull warded off. Now, we might see an early level 1 clash. It looks like it will be a support Dazzle. Makes sense. He's really their only viable support. I suppose Enigma is a decent secondary, but not the ideal. Really. He's fighting that secondary support. Can't really be a primary, though. Just needs too much farm. Slardar going to be leading the charge here. Looks like he'll be farming along with kingj, who's picked up, interestingly, 2 clarities. So with that being said, looks like we're going to see a level 1 clash here. And I'm not sure who would have the advantage. I want to say it will be, yeah, definitely would be the Dire. rotk looking for an opening, but that Burst Strike is very low range at level 1. Invoker went for Exhort, so already tipping his hand there. rotk desperately trying to get in range of anyone. longdd, nice job, eats through the trees, Cold Feet, Burrow Strike, Magic Missile, Waveform, Fissure, everything! The entire house being thrown there at MMY. And down he goes. Yeah, Broodmother as well as that Invoker just cannot do anything at level 1. Now let's be honest, Enigma can't do much. Of course, if he goes for demonic conversions, he can do even less, but level 1 Malefice is pretty useless. 30 damage, 1 second stun, only 1 instance.
The battle begins.
A big pickoff here for DK. You really want to get off to a good start when you're up against so many heroes that want farm and levels. The best way to shut them down is to get those early picks. I believe the magic bush ward here was placed. It's a little hard to tell if it's right in the correct spot because these trees were blown up. But it looks like it is. So on the bottom lane, we're going to see a Dazzle and Slardar. Up against an Earthshaker Morphling. It's a pretty balanced lane. I want to say it should be a slight advantage to EHOME early on just because of that Dazzle having better range. Slightly better attack range than the Morphling. I mean, neither of them are great. We'll have to see. QQQ is going to be looking to set up a level 1 gank here on mid. That middle lane will be an Invoker up against... Okay, we'll be super on the solo mid position as that Ancient Apparition. I really like seeing Ancient Apparition solo mid, just because that ult can be so powerful for setting up early ganks, and you want to get level 6 as quickly as possible. longdd trying to set something up here mid, but MMY playing defensively. Not sure if I think he did spot it with this ward. But even if he didn't, just smart position by him. QQQ going to be running here into some Eidolons. At level 1, Vengeful Spear. Oh, nice hero blocking from QQQ. Sunstrike is going to hit. It's just not that powerful. Only 1 point into Exhort at this stage of the game. And longdd very low. One more auto attack will do it. He'll be just fine. That was close. Great hero blocking there by QQQ. And the most important thing about that is that puts to rest any ambitions longdd had of setting up an early kill, you know, either on the Enigma or on the Invoker. So that's going to free both these heroes up quite a bit. He will be rotating down towards the bottom lane. Now, if they try lane this, they should be able to slow down. My voice just cracked. They should be able to slow down the Slardar's farm. You know, but more importantly, Morphling's going to get free farm. So I like the decision here. You know, hey, if you can't get the ganks up, nice fissure block, but lanm immediately going to tango through the trees. He has Shallow Grave at level 1. I don't think it's going to matter. He's completely surrounded. Slither and Crush on 2. I believe that hit Bernie. In the end, lanm will go down. The score is now 2-0 favoring the Dire. Up in the top lane, we have rotk making a go here in kingj. kingj, interestingly, could have run straight up into the web, but chose to go down. And so he is going to be able to bottle up and clarity up. Or excuse me, not bottle up, flask up. Flask up. Salva! Man, I am real rusty right now. But if you take a look at that top lane, rotk is off to a great start. 14 creep kills. Compare that to the Broodmother. Broodmother only sitting at 7. Sunstring in on the top lane is going to hit rotk. Are we going to see a spawn Broodlings? Level 2 spawn Broodlings is used. He's got the Burrow Strike. He's holding on to it. Actually, he's going to pop it there. No mana for another spawn Broodling, so he will be just fine. Spawn Spiderlings, excuse me. RTK with an Invisor heading into the middle lane. Cold Feet, Magic Missile. MMY is going to drop here, so nice job by longdd picking up that Invisor, which was warded. So I'm a little surprised MMY didn't expect that gang. On the bottom lane, man, a lot of action for a Chinese game, I got to say. Burning's going to be okay for now. Let's take a look at that bottom lane in terms of the creep score, as that is crucial. Who's getting the edge here, and most importantly, is Burning getting his early farm. Burning only on 6 creeps, not having a good time at all, even with the Vengeful Spirit spending some time here. In comes Vengeful Spirit again, and lanm goes down. longdd, despite getting shut down with that level 1 gank, really making his presence felt right now. Great play by him. But yeah, Morphling is not having a good time in terms of the farm. Hey, that kill will certainly help him. He's got the Ring of Basilius. I'm guessing we're going to see a bottle next. He could go for Ring of Aquila and maybe some regen items, but he is quite low. Maybe he'll go for the Ring of Health, try to rush. We'll have to see. But at least he's getting a little bit of farm. Boots are up on the Slardar. A very important hero to get early boots on because of his need to run next to you to stun. You know, it'll help set up ganks. It'll help keep him alive as well in this bottom lane. And that's important when you see how active the Vengeful Spirit has been. Looks like Apparition is having the edge here in that middle lane thanks to the early kill by the Venge, who's TPing in mid right now. I'm going to keep my eyes like a hawk on longdd because he has been all over the place, setting up kills left and right. He's got a pair of sentry wards here, maybe looking to deward, or maybe looking to set up a gank on KJ top. That's a pretty hard kill to get, but if anyone can do it, it's probably a Sand King plus a Vengeful Spirit. With 3 heroes towards the middle lane, will they go for a kill mid? No, they won't. MMY, gonna be okay for now. Looks like a sentry ward was thrown down here by the Dire. Just trying to ward off any sort of hill wards. Now, hill wards are a pretty good way to set up stun strikes, but of course, as well as see any sort of gank traffic. So, with this Venge being so active early on, I like that decision. Zippo looking to set up a gank here on Enigma, who apparently this was not magic bush warded, as creeps are spawning here. I guess it's pretty close. I think it's got to be a little bit over to the left. But either way, unfortunately, Enigma will be getting that extra farm. Speaking of that farm, let's take a look at the gold graph, and actually I should not have the replay timer up. Whoops. It's going to be plus 1,000 in favor of the Dire. Honestly, a pretty huge lead. I mean, I guess that's almost exclusively explained by the kills. But if you look at the Radiant, they're getting okay farm on most of their core heroes. Burrow Strike in on kingj, but kingj will be fine for now. I mean, I think the key hero here, if you look at DK, it's got to be rotk. He's leading the way in terms of farm, and he's really their best mid-game hero. That epicenter of the Burrow Strike, so good for setting up ganks. longdd gets spotted out here, does pop down a sentry ward. It's going to force the Broodmother to play very defensively. On the bottom lane, QQQ looking to make a go, but not going to find anything just yet. If you're ever playing Enigma, this is really the best way to gank with him. Wait until you have that double set of conversions up and then go, because the conversions are a lot of damage early on. 28 times 6. It's pretty scary. I mean, every volley is hitting you for like 140 damage before reduction. And Burning, in fact, is going to be the one to check the rune bottom. I guess they're maybe worried about someone getting caught out. Of course, Morphling will be the best at surviving. He did pick up the bottle, as well as the magic stick, going for a lot of regen. A smart choice. I like the magic stick purchase because you're up against the Dazzle, who's got very spammable spells, and the Slardar, whose stun is fairly spammable. Land him in a little bit of trouble. In comes longdd, who's not managed to get boost despite setting up those kills. Magic missile to initiate, and down to Lanham goes instantly. That fissure just too much, but Venge is going to pay. In comes the Sunstrike. Return kill. Will we get more than one? I don't think so. Burning is already morphing heavily to strike. Courier taking a little bit of damage. They're going to go back on Zippo, but Zippo will be okay. 1 for 1 in the end. But look how aggressive Super is being in the middle lane. Just bullying MMY, to be perfectly honest. That one gank from Vengeful Spirit just puts Super in such a great spot. You can see he has hit level 6, and we'll undoubtedly see him throwing that ultimate all over the place. And really, that's the combination of the Sand King, getting that good start, Burrow Strike in again on kingj, just being a total nuisance here. A little bit of Sentry Ward Wars, and in the end, it looks like kingj will win, thanks to that extra mobility from being in the webs. Yeah, but the combination of the Sand King plus the AA, that's really going to determine it for me. Is you know, if DK can make things happen with that AA ulti plus the Sand King, if he elects to go for a quick blink or just the Arcane Boots, will that be enough? Burning, really aggressive dive here. Wants to kill, and he is going to get it thanks to that magic missile from longdd. That was a greedy dive. Of course, Super did throw his ult for that gank. But hey, this is the power of that ancient apparition mid. Sure, you guys have Sunstrike on, you know, on Invoker, and that's nice. But we have ancient apparition ult, which is a much larger AOE, much more reliable way to lock down heroes, and of course does more damage too, at least early on. So I love the fact that they're being aggressive with that. And expect to see more of it, because your Morphling is not farming. He's only got 14 creeps, so there's a lot more pressure on rotk, as well as that that Super play and that ancient apparition to continue to make things happen. Speaking of farm, if we take a look right now at both teams, let's sort of see how they're doing. I mentioned that EHOME's been having balanced farm, but it's still not a whole lot. I guess the high farmers averaging about 4 creeps. For Enigma, a lot of these are jungle creeps. So they're not worth quite as much, but doing pretty decently. About 30 for their 25 to 30 for their 4 core heroes. Oh, initiation on Zippo. Looks like he's going to get a Poison Touch, Slither and Crush. Actually, the Sunstrike doesn't hit, but in the end, it will be enough to bring down. In comes ALT. Will kingj be able to dodge it? Indeed, he will. That was quite close. Man, Super is just making his presence felt. Even though they lost in that engagement, you saw how scared QQQ had to be playing. A nice movement by him to dodge that ALT. It's very similar to playing against a Pudge when you're up against an Ancient Apparition, or, you know, for that matter, an Invoker with Sunstrike. You constantly have to be on the lookout for those, you know, that just getting picked off and, you know, things coming out of nowhere that do a lot of damage to you. But in terms of the farm check, Super is doing really well. Almost 46 creeps, he's 1-0-2. RTK, of course, I've been talking all game about him. He's at 48. Oh, initiation on that Poison Touch. It's level 3. There will be a stun. In comes the Sunstrike. Down he goes with the Slither and Crush, as well as the heal. A nice little combination. In comes the AA ulti. It's not going to be enough to get a kill. Kind of a, you know, this is one of the downsides to ganking from long distance, or counter ganking, or trying to punish ganks on that Ancient Apparition, is that it takes a while for the ult to get there. Even if you're in the middle lane, it's still a pretty decent travel time. But with these kills, even though they're only killing off the support, they continue to shut down Burning, who's only averaging 2 creeps a minute. I mean, for any Morphling, this is atrocious farm in a pro game, and especially for Burning. We'd certainly expect more. So, something for us to keep an eye on. Will he get anything going? I mean, Liquid Sphere is the normal build, but I just don't think you can go for one at this point. There's a lot of single target nukes on the Radiant side to begin with. And then you have to consider that, you know, even if he gets that Linken's up, it's probably going to be a 30-minute Linken's at this rate. Of course, I say that Bernie will average 10 creeps per minute, starting at the 11-minute mark. And then we'll have it by the 20-minute mark. But barring that, it's going to be quite a while. Let's take a little general look at item progression here, as we might see a little bit of an engagement on the bottom lane. Looks like nothing for now. Okay, we'll chance a look at items here. Arcane Boots, Bottle picked up on Super. Already showed that on the camera, but did not mention. Double Soul Rain on EHOME. A little bit of engagement here over the creep pull. DK not wanting to give that extra farm over to EHOME. But we'll have to take a look at the items later. As Invoker has rotated down, he's got a single point in Wex. A little bit unorthodox, but MMY just want to have access to the full pool of skills. Sunstrike comes in. and Zippo will drop. Man, rotk still not leaving this top lane. He's got Dust. He actually went for Rain of Health. Now, this is not uncommon on Sandcane. It tells us that DK wants Sandcane to sit top and just farm and farm and farm and shut down the broodmother. And hey, it makes a lot of sense. ult hits. If rotk had chanced the Dust there, could have gotten a lucky kill with the Burstring Epicenter. But yeah, leaving Sandcane here, you really have to, because you're up against the broodmother. The only way to shut a brood down is to constantly leave someone lane who can deal with her. You know, like a Sandcane, a Darkseer, or a Dragon Knight, something like that. Or just kill her constantly, and they're not going to be able to kill her because they just there's too many heroes that they need to devote towards this bottom lane to get burning whatever farm they can. So the next best thing is to leave Sandcane top. So he'll be here for quite a while, probably going to finish that Vanguard, then get a Blink Dagger, and then we'll see him get active around the map. Replicant is actually needing a Poison Touch, kind of strange to see so much devoted just to that, especially with the limited mana pool, but hey, they brought it down, so can't criticize too much. Regen Rune picked up by AA, or actually just used by AA.
Illusion.
If we take a look at the warding, this has been a very passive game, so the warding can give us a hint as far as like what teams are trying, how they're trying to play, what they're trying to accomplish over the next couple minutes. Very defensive wards being placed here for the Dire squad. You know, just wanting to make sure they have vision of any rotations around the map. You don't see any aggressive jungle wards. They're not trying to get any kills. Oh, rotk Bro Strikes away. Might be in a little bit of trouble here. It actually comes back in. Sunstrike, will it hit? Indeed, it will not. That was really close. rotk narrowly surviving. And I'm sure he'll be very glad about that. So a wasted gank. This is a very underfarmed invoker. If we take a look at MMY, not only underfarmed, he's underleveled. He's level 8. Compared to Super, he's level 10. A single gank early in the game should not result in that much of a discrepancy. So you got to chalk it up to the amount of time he's been spending out of lane. And frankly, I'm not sure he needs to be. They were doing pretty well bottom. You know, they got the kills with... I mean, I guess Invoker helps a little bit, but I feel like, you know, oh, H Apparition ult comes in. Cupid Cat in a little bit of trouble. Immediately the Shallow Grave is thrown down. A little bit premature, but he will be okay. But if you throw in the Enigma, the Slardar, and the Dazzle, I mean, they're fine against, even if the Venge is down here. Of course, as I say that, Sandcane has abandoned top lane. The lane is pushed for the moment. Looking to make a go here. Sandcane will probably be the difference maker. The question is, will QQQ get off a good black hole? Magic Missile and Cupid Cat. Not sure he's the right target. Burrow Strike in just on lanm, as well as an Epicenter. A very expensive kill if he gets it. Doesn't look like he's going to. Waveform in from Burning. Not going to get off lanm. QQQ will go down. So a 2-for-1 trade so far. Will Burning get another kill? Waveform cooling down in 3, 2, 1, and he's not going to get him. So, hey, oh, maybe that'll do it. No, Super actually ran down.
Tower is under attack.
No, he didn't run down. That was a really small ult for traveling that far. Huh. Maybe he threw it from closer, then ran back towards mid. I am not sure, but either way, in the end, he doesn't get it. Bottom tower goes down, so a big fight in favor of DK. Once again, the Invoker actually died.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Guess Super just... Sorry I missed that, because I guess there was actually going down at the same time bottom. No idea how Super solo killed him without the ult. Because he didn't throw the ult towards bottom lane. But either way, this Invoker is MMY being completely shut down early game. And that's a big loss for EHOME. I mean, this is a lane that Invoker should do well in. Of course, he got ganked once, but, you know, he should be okay. Now, part of that can be chalked up to him going for the Exhort build. He wanted to help his team out more early on with the early aggression, but the downside of that is you don't have as much HP to work with. You can't take the harassment from the cold feet quite as well. DK rotating towards the middle lane. 2 heroes smoked up. Super leading the way. It's going to be a cold feet into an Earthshaker fissure. Looks like QQQ going to go down almost immediately. You can see just how crucial that ice vortex is. Oh, Super in a lot of trouble here. MMY. Oh, big Echo Slam. Not getting the kill, but doing a lot of damage. Slither and Crush on Super. Super eats the Sunstrike. He will most likely be going down. Indeed he does, and Zippo will most likely go down as well. No, the Slither and Crush misses, but the Urn will be just enough to pick up that kill. So who has it? I guess it's Dazzle. Yeah, lanm, a very aggressive item purchase. I like that choice. I like the fact that EHOME is generally going for, you know, some pretty aggressive early game items. Of course, Phase Boots, Drum on Invoker, nothing unusual, but hey, good for being aggressive early on. And of course the Soul Rain on the Slardar, plus the Soul Rain on the Brood, and the Enigma. A lot of Soul Rains for everyone, but yeah, these are standard items on these heroes, but it allows you to be a little more active with spamming your spells, go for early engagements, which frankly, they've been getting the worst end of those. If you take a look at the gold graph, it is 1500 in favor. Man, that Sunstrike hurts. especially when you're morphed heavily to agility as Bernie is. Bernie wants to maybe go for a last hit here. He's got a replicate of longdd up, just trying to distract the Eidolons. Wants to go for that tower last hit. They're not going to get it. And it will not be deniable. So nice play by DK, recognizing that they weren't going to be able to get the tower. MOI TP's in top. This invoker spending so much time trying to gank. In fact, even buying a sentry ward, or at least placing one. RTK eats one more auto attack. He'll be okay. The skanky invoker is not working at all. I mean, normally when you go exhort invoker, you do it so you can gank without leaving your lane. But he's gone exhort and he's left the lane. The tower is now deniable, man. In comes the Sunstrike as well as the Poison Touch. Zippo will go down. The question is, will they get more? Super eats a medallion, it looks like. Or is that? I thought someone used medallion on. Either way, longdd is going to go down here on the high ground. What? It looks like there's another. Oh, that's just slardar. I guess they changed the icon, or I'm just crazy because I could have sworn there was a medallion plus slardar. Either way, mid tower in a little bit of trouble here. EHOME on the backs of a couple of counter kills. Gonna be looking for the tower. Burning forced to rotate in. Now, of course, one of the other reasons he's forced is not just because the tower is being pressured, but look at this bottom lane. Pushed all the way deep into EHOME territory. Normally, having the lanes pushed means you have the map control, but when you have a morphling, I mean, there's nowhere for him to farm right now. Bernie up to 58 creeps, which 17 minutes in, it is an improvement, but it's nothing to write home about either. He's going to eat all the Malefice as well as the Cold Snap, but it will not be enough. Taking a look at the top lane, kingj and rotk just continuing their eternal war. It is Scorpion on Spider action here, and it looks like the Scorpion is getting a slightly better trade. kingj will be rushing BKB. Now, it's interesting, there was an interview, I believe it was by Cora, well, as I said, that cold feet swap, as well as a fissure, everything, including the kitchen sink being thrown here at kingj. But in the end, it is enough. Of course, there's a burrow strike there as well. Tower will be pressured, so the tower going to go down. In the meantime, what do we see in the bottom lane? Just the EHOME getting a little bit of farm on. But yeah, but there's an interesting interview by Korok where he basically said he thought Orchid and I think it was Korok, I could be wrong. It's an American player, I know that. Who said that he felt that the standard item choice on Brood were just flat out bad. But he didn't like BKB in most situations, he didn't like Orchid in most situations. Now, that's not to say they're never good. I mean, he admitted they had potential in some situations, but for the most part, he actually favors Manta style just because it gives you a little bit of extra pushing power. It's good for removing certain slows and, you know, damage over time spells. And it gives you a little, gives you that max move speed under the webs. Now, Brood already moves fast, but it gives you just a little bit more. Of course, EHOME is not yet, I guess, not yet adopting the Korok style, but hey, if he continues to perform at the level I've seen him perform recently, they might consider it. If we take a look at item progression, has anyone picked up a big item yet in this game? Mechanism, I've shown that on Ancient Apparition earlier. Super going for, this is one of the benefits of that early farm on Ancient Apparition, is he can easily buy support items for your team. He doesn't need any big core items for himself. He goes straight for the mecha. Curious what the next purchase will be. There are a lot of different ways you can go. A couple of arcane boots being picked up. Interesting, tranquil boots on the Vengeful Spirit. Of course, it makes sense if your team has a lot of arcane boots, you don't really need to get some for yourself. Mana's not going to be an issue, so you can either just tank up or go for tranquil boots for that little bit of extra HP regen. In terms of EHOME, in terms of their item progression, not as much. MMY has managed to pick up the drum. Aside from that, lanm getting close to a mechanism, 850 gold away. And of course, I mentioned kingj. He's working on that BKB. Now, if we just take a look at the map control here, I haven't talked much about it this game. It's looking heavily, heavily in favor of DK. I mean, if you take a look at the towers, they've only lost a single tower. It was their mid tower, but they still have the bottom up, which gives you really good Roshan access. The entire team just fearlessly charging into the Radiant jungle. Not even bothering to D-ward, actually. EHOME coming the other way, looking for initiation. Sprint out of Cupid Cat, who does it with Vanguard. Huge black hole from QQQ, as well as the Slither Crush and the Meeple. Oh my goodness, but the mechanism, too strong. longdd running for his life. Cupid Cat finally gets the first blood of that fight. Oh man, I can't believe that was even close. Burning, running for his life. And it looks like, oh, an early Ghost Scepter being picked up. He will live. Epicenter from the low ground, back onto the high ground. Dazzle has not gone down yet. He's doing so much for his team in this fight to keep everyone alive. Who will be the next to die? Looks like kingj will. No, and not timely Slither and Crush. Down RTK goes. Down Super goes. Or excuse me, not Super going down. Someone just died. Their Super goes down now. MMY gets a big kill. That Exhort Invoker and as well as the Dazzle just doing work in that fight. Wow, a 3-for-3 trade. I mean, it took a perfect Black Hole, a perfect Slither and Crush, an amazing Meteor. And that Meteor was doing sick damage. That is a 6-point and Exhort Meteor, which this early on, let's see, what is it? 25.5 per second. Oh wait, no, that's the. So when you throw Meteor, it does a little bit of initial damage over time, like when it's rolling over you, and then it leaves like a fiery trail. So the damage up top is what we're interested in, which is 127.5 per second. Man, that is some sick damage, but it just goes to show you how crucial that early game mechanism was. I mean, without that, DK would have just completely lost that fight. In the end, it was a 3-for-3 trade. Crucially, I believe Burning did go down. No, actually, he might have lived. That was interesting that he went for the Ghost Scepter. I love the fact that Bernie has made an adjustment to the build. Now, I've seen him play Morphling before. I know he likes to go for Lincoln Sphere, but this is just not a good game to do it. I mean, not only does the enemy team have a lot of ways to break the spell block, it just also would be too late. So instead he goes for a Ghost Scepter. Hey, it gives you +7 to all stats. It gives you that Ghost form, which when you're up against a Slardar, when you're up against Eidolons, when you're up against a Broodmother, when you're up against an Exhort Invoker, a lot of right-click power, plus all the minus armor, it makes a lot of sense. So Bernie, great adjustment by him. Guessing we'll see this turn into Ethereal Blade. Of course, he could just hang on to the Ghost Scepter, as it's pretty useful on his own. Go back for maybe something like a Manta style. And then go later on into the Ethereal Blade. We'll have to see, but a fast Ethereal Blade, if he can get it, would be devastating. A lot of squishy heroes on EHOME. I mean, if you look at, of course, QQQ, sure he's got the Blake, but if Morphling gets the jump on him, QQQ is just flat out dead if there's an Ethereal Blade in the equation. It's just too much damage. Just the Ethereal Blade plus a waveform alone will be enough to bring him down. So, nice adjustment by Burning. I know I gushed about him for like 10 minutes there. kingj should most likely be getting that BKB any second. Indeed he will. Any other interesting item progressions? Super with a Force Staff. Of course, Force Staff always a great choice. I think you can make a case for Yule Scepter on A as well, because you can Cold Feet them, throw them up in the air, then it's a guaranteed Cold Feet proc. But with this many stuns on the team, you really don't need it. DK going in for the Roshan here. Burning has the DD rune. He's seeing on only 473 life. If that Sunstrike had somehow hit just him, might have been enough to bring him down. Looks like the Eidolons are in here. Will they snipe the Aegis? I think they did. I don't see it. Oh, the Eidolons killed the Aegis. Oh man, that was a big play. Yeah, nobody picked it up. They still get the 1,000 gold. So it's certainly a win for DK, but MMY, man, nice micro. I didn't even get to see the killing blow. There are too many heroes on top of the Aegis, but what a play. Item progression, item progression, item progression. Even for a Chinese game, man, this has been some decent action. 1 kill per minute. I mean, I think like a ridiculously action-packed game is about 2 per minute, but hey, for the Chinese, over 1 per minute, I'm going to be happy about that. Really nothing else of note. We're entering sort of a little bit more passive stage of the game. I guess well, actually, sorry, there's something important to note, and that's the Sand Cane has picked up his Blink Dagger. I don't think he had it in that previous engagement. I think he just epicentered and then walked up onto the high ground. In fact, I'm positive about that. But he has it now, and that's going to be big for DK. It gives them one reliable initiation. Of course, you've already got Fissure. Bunch of heroes for EHOME. Smoked up Blake in as well as the Slither and Crush. They want Burning. Will they get him? That Ghost Scepter. Even the Black Hole being used. Oh, godlike Dazzle. When did that happen? I did not realize lanm had so many kills. Holy crap, the fight is not over yet. Dazzle doing a lot of work. Nice Fissure. Well, decent Fissure anyway, but only hitting Cupid Cat, so it's not good enough. rotk goes down. Meanwhile, it looks like lanm got picked up. That's a huge bounty of gold going the way of longdd. He's up to 1,500 now. Looks like Slardar has his Blake as well. He's been using it in this fight. Definitely blast used defensively. MMY will go down. They should probably cut their losses to get out. QQQ gonna have that Blink. He should be okay. In the end, it is a 2 for 2. And the Radiant used the Black Hole there, but you know, they got Burning, who also bought back for the looks of it. Yeah, he did. So that's going to slow down his farm quite a bit. I mean, for Burning, this is pretty abysmal farm. 4 creeps per minute. A good Burning game would be like 6 or 7. A really good one would be 8+. And of course, he's still getting the job done, but you know, the question is, will it be enough? Because he's up against the Brood with a BKB. He's up against the Slardar. You know, with that Blink Dagger initiation, the minus armor to follow. A lot of disables here on the Radiant. Of course, the minus armor from the dazzle as well. You have to factor that in. And the invoker's right click. It's a lot of disables. It's a lot of minus armor.
Invisibility.
And we'll have to see. I mean, Bernie, maybe he'll rush a BKB. I feel like he needs a damage item, but at the same time, it's not going to be enough. So we'll have to see which way he goes. Of course, BKB wouldn't be too great against Enigma. I'm just theory crafty at this point, but rather than theory craft, let's take a look at the gold graph. Wow, it's even. That's kind of surprising.
Dazzle!
Zippo in a little bit of trouble. kingj making quite a journey here. Or sorry, it's not Zippo who's in trouble. What am I talking about? kingj running into Zippo there, but in the end we'll just back off and probably head back towards top. He's got 1,800 gold in the bank. I am curious what the next choice will be. I'm not sure if Orchid would make sense. As we actually have a pause, and I'm going to take this opportunity to get a glass of water. Because I am just positively parched. So I will be right back. Alright, I am back, and it looks like this pause continues for quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. Whoa. Alright, so we are back into the game. It's 27 minutes in, score 17 to 15. I just showed the gold graph. Show it again. Very even. If you take a look at the towers that are down. Oh, initiation on Bernie. Blink in from Cupid Cat. As well as that ult. Bernie pops the Ghost Scepter, or actually, oh, he just used it now. Sunstrike is gonna hit. Wow, surprised that didn't do more damage, to be honest. Well, this Ghost Scepter pickup turning out to be fantastic for Bernie. It saved him his hide quite a few times. Nice job by him making that replicate. Keep it with his team so he can rejoin the fight. In the bottom lane, bit of a push here. Oh, rotk wanted that tonight. Not going to be able to get it. Just too many summons there. Blink back in from QQQ, who drops the Malefice. Meteor to follow. Oh my god, that meteor damage. Oh, MMY. I mean, he did not have a good start, but he is playing fabulously well this game. Just a nice setup from the team. So, another kill going the way of EHOME. Of course, this Sand King already has his core items up, so in that sense, it's not a big kill, but hey, they'll certainly take the gold. Cupid Cat just being, you know, a little bit of a chase there. The illusion of Cupid Cat doing a little bit of harassment. I bet DK really would have loved to have that Aegis in the last couple of engagements, so showing just how crucial that can be. And an early Ghost Scepter pickup from Super. Little surprise. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? For the same reasons we talked about for Morphling, it's a nice pickup. Some sort of very strange graphical glitch coming out here. But yeah, I wanted to talk about map control. So 2 towers down top, 3, 4. 4 towers down overall for the Dire. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty identical tower distribution. Of course, this does favor the Dire a little bit because of their better Roshan access. They still have their mid and their bottom towers up, and that's crucial. Losing the top tower certainly hurts your jungle control, but at the same time, it's not going to affect the Roshan battle too much. Vitality booster. This is a very farm Dazzle. Any other gold in the bank? And I believe he's been buying most of the wards. Could be wrong about that. kingj going for the Yasha, so it looks like we will see a Manta style. I like the choice. Gives you a little bit more pushing power, and they already have a lot of summons to push. Gives you 2 more illusions to throw into the fight, as well as some extra damage and maneuverability. Bernie randomly popping his Ghost Scepter. That could be bad if a fight starts, but it doesn't look like one will happen anytime soon. EHOME is gravitating towards bottom. The black hole is back up, crucially. Smoke up, and they were not spotted. This could be a bad fight for DK, but very nice spacing. This is what DK is known for, is their positioning. You know, like most of the Chinese teams, they're really normally very strong at positioning. Something I noticed when I was watching them, some of them play like a couple weeks ago even, or maybe it was more like a month ago. Their positioning was not what it has been in Dota 2, or in Dota 1, but it looks a lot better right now. I gotta say, I'm impressed. Nice spacing all around. rotk staying back so he can counter initiate. Looks like Burning is farming up top. Does he have a replicate down here is the question. I don't believe he does. So this will be a 4-on-5 if they actually try to fight. Or sorry, Brood's up top, so if she TP's in, it would be a 4-on-5. Either way, for now, it's kind of a standoff here. Bernie actually going back to the fountain. He's got the Ethereal Blade. Wow. 30 minutes in. I mean, you compare this Ethereal Blade to a Lincoln Sphere. He could have had the Lincolns about now. He could have had the Ethereal Blade. Which one would be more useful? I'm going to say the Ethereal Blade much more so. I mean, not only did the Ghost Scepter keep him alive, we talked about that earlier, but now he can actually do something in a fight. He can easily insta-give the Enigma with the help of maybe just one other nuke from his team, or one other stun. You know, that plus the Ethereal, or plus the Banish, plus the Adaptive Strike, plus the Waveform should be more than sufficient. So I like that pickup. DK, everyone playing very defensively, sort of rotating back towards their jungle. If we take a look at the warding situation, a nice lane ward placed here. Just to give them an idea of what's going on in the lane. So they can maybe set up a smoke gank towards the bottom. Some de-warding attempts by EHOME. Actually, I didn't catch if there was a ward there, but if there was, it's gone now. Take another look at item progression. Yep, Ethereal Blade up. Aside from that, looks like Invoker. He's had this ultimate orb for a bit, and almost has the Hex. Ooh, that's a big pickup. Now, especially if the Morphling doesn't have the Lincoln Sphere, he might be wishing he did, because if he gets Hex, he doesn't get to toggle Morph in time, he is going down. You also, you know, nice way to counter the Sand Chain if he's trying to channel his ult. Normally, if a team is a Morphling, you figure if the game's going to 30 minutes, it's pretty even. You have the advantage, but I'm not so sure they do. I mean, EHOME, look at their lineup. They've got a Broodmother who's farming well, with a BKB as well as a Yasha up. Of course, you've got one of the most farmed Dazzles in the history of Dota. Yeah, outside of pub games anyway. You've got an Enigma who's got a Blink working towards that BKB and getting close. A Slardar who's got a Blink, a Vanguard, and also working towards BKB. I mean, what answers does DK have for the BKB? I don't see any. And that's something I've not talked about yet. Everything that they do is magical damage, including that Morphling who's gone for the Ethereal Blade. Sure, he's got some okay right click, but aside from that, magical damage, magical damage, magical damage. And you guessed it, magical damage, magical damage. That's a lot of magical damage, and nothing that goes through BKB. So if EHOME just farms, gets up their BKBs, and they all go mid, I just don't see any answer for it. The Roshan will be spawning soon, and of course that'll be most likely the next big sort of focus in the upcoming team fights. Hex is picked up on Invoker, who has maxed out Exhort. He's got 4 points in Quas. I'd expect to see the ult at level 17, and then max out Wex, get those 2 extra points. What am I talking about? No, but yeah, I'd expect to see him go back to maxi Wex now. I doubt we'll see any more points in Quas. I was gonna make a comment about Forged Spirits, but then I realized that you don't need Wex for those. So a little bit rusty. Give me a break. So everyone on EHOME smoked up, looking for initiation. Blink in on rotk, who is 4-stacked out. I'm not sure it'll be enough. I'm surprised. Echo Slam! Pretty big Echo Slam from Zippo. Black Hole gets dropped, as well as the Shallow Grave. A good Black Hole. In fact, a very good one. Dust getting popped. longdd going down. EHOME just picking a fight right before all their BKBs were purchased. They're still going to take it pretty convincingly. Well, 2-1. Not the most convincing win, but it should be enough to push. Or to go Roshan. And they have a fantastic lineup for doing Roshan. A lot of physical damage, a lot of minus armor just from the Slardar alone. As well as that, I don't think Dazzle works on him. No, it does not. But it doesn't really matter. We're going to see a big engagement. Wolf burning. Steal this Blink in initiation from rotk, as well as that AA ulti. Is enough to bring it down. Broodmother picks up the Aegis, so nice job by kingj. But 4 heroes down in the blink of an eye. And I think kingj is going to drop here again with that Ethereal Blade. Too much damage. Down he goes. MLY was trying to fight with the DD rune. Invokes Ghostwalk. Is there a... Oh, there is a gem up, in fact, on rotk. A nice purchase. A very timely one. Man, that buyback was absolutely huge by rotk. I believe he bought back. I guess he could have died and come back. But I think he bought back there. Either way, great play by him coming with the gem. Turning that fight around... That's not a good trade at all. Sure, you got the Roshan gold, because I believe they last hit it. But that's certainly not worth trading so many deaths, as well as the Aegis. DK looking to push mid now, and take this chance to look at the gold and experience graphs again. They're favoring the Radiant, in spite of that fight. But you can see they're dipping downward pretty dramatically. And that's going to give Bernie a little more time to farm, a little more time to get up items. He's sitting on 3,200 gold now. DK, are they going to go for high ground? I couldn't imagine that. No, they're going to go bottom and look to push this tower. Replicate even dropped by burning. He's going to pressure mid as much as he can. He always has that replicate out if he needs it. He will end up using it. Bottom tower going to drop, so a big turn of events for DK. It's not just the fact that they won the Roshan battle. It's not just the fact that they blew the Aegis. They got 2 crucial Radiant towers down in that fight. They also delayed a lot of EHOME's BKBs. Well, I say that. QQQ's got one. Cupid Cat's about to have his delivered. So actually, they delayed them, but they were just too close as it is. So at this point, I mean, Morphling has a little bit more damage, but at the same time, the main source of damage for DK is still heavily focused on that magical damage, and they're just not going to be able to. It's not reliable when you're up against so many BKBs. If they get it off, it's great. But I guess their best bet at this point will be to farm, because frankly, the only way they're winning the slate is either getting a good pick off or two, and some good initiations, or more likely, Morphling getting a bunch of items. So burning. Let's take a look at his farm. You see the 192 CS, actually pretty good. I want to say that's what 5. A little bit less than, in between 4 and 5 per minute. Still not great by any stretch of the imagination, especially for a player of Burning's caliber. DK smoking and just running all the way back into their base. Very afraid of an EHOME smoke gank, which in fact is what EHOME is doing right now. Black Hole is off cooldown, so everything is ready to go for EHOME. Let's take another look at item progression while we have a few seconds here. Nothing else really of note. I feel like I'm bad at just parsing what I'm seeing on the screen. Like my eyes have trouble understanding Dota. This is only like I've only taken like 2 weeks off from casting regularly, so I definitely got to avoid doing that in the future. But hey, in the end, hopefully you guys are catching most of the action with the camera, even if you're not getting to enjoy the best commentary I've ever delivered. Both teams sort of milling around here. Trying to think of things to talk about, but I mean, I guess we can talk about where does EHOME go from here. They've got all the BKBs up on pretty much every core hero. They've got the Manta style up on the broodmother. I mean, where's they don't have any single hero that's going to outcarry a morphling. It's sort of the combination of the brood, the slardar, and the invoker that bring enough right click and general sort of single target focus fire to be able to win that. So I don't know. It's a tough situation for EHOME. They're very reliant on team fight. If that black hole is not up, pretty much all they have going for them is just the fact they can't be nuked down. If they don't hit a good black hole, though, the fight can go south in a hurry. And of course, you're up against a Vengeful Spirit, so even if you pop the BKB, you're not guaranteed to get the ult off. Speaking of that Vengeful Spirit, longdd has hit level 12. Zippo has picked up the Blink Dagger. The later this game goes, I want to say like this period right here is where EHOME has to make something happen. Just because if it goes long enough, I mean DK had, sure you're gonna have BKBs, but they may be down to the 5-second. So the 5-second cooldowns if the game goes long enough. And eventually Morphling will have a BKB of his own, and then he's probably not going to care about anything you do, aside from the black hole. Speaking of burning, he's got the BKB. Oh, in fact, he already has one. The second I stop looking at his items, he buys something huge. As well as another 2,500 gold. Holy crap. I mean, he had like 4,000 gold the last time I checked him. But he suddenly acquired another 2,700 or so. That's burning for you, man. I'm just going to be farming up like a champ. The question for me is, where do you go from here? I guess Manta Style is a common choice. Butterfly is not unheard of. And against there's a decent amount of right click on EHOME. Would not be a bad purchase by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I wouldn't mind seeing something a little bit unconventional in this situation. Maybe something like a Hex. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Of course, Lifesteal, another common choice. We'll have to see, but the point is that Burning has money, which is more than we could say about... The first 25 minutes of this game were all about Burning having nothing, except for a Ghost Scepter. And just struggling to get any kind of farm going. I mean, this guy had 2 CS per minute in a tri-lane, or a pseudo tri-lane bottom. Of course he wasn't in the suicide lane, but still. That's not a happy place to be for a Morphling. Now that Burning is farmed, one of the other nice things is that he can be very aggressive in pushing. Of course, because these 2 towers are down bottom, it makes it a little bit easier for him to push, so he can just go all the way here, right to about here, before he has to worry about getting ganked. That map control seized by DK, so crucial for allowing that morphling to farm. Burning, looks like, oh, I was gonna say match style, but no, that's just an illusion room. Morphing pretty heavily to agility, getting close to that 200 agility mark. EHOME, I feel like they want to make something happen, but it's very difficult to do at this stage of the game because Morphling is very good at pushing out the lanes. Because, you know, he can push one lane, replicate out to another. He's very hard to gank out. The Sand King with his Blink Dagger, plus that Caustic Finale, is also pretty good at pushing at lanes, and it's got a lot of mobility. So it's just hard for EHOME to make a move. And they're kind of, you know, they're spending a lot of time sitting around as a bunch. And I'd expect to see the gold graph reflecting this fact, and indeed it is the Dire with the gold lead. Now, of course, a lot of that is due to the, you know, the big team fight they won at Roshan, as well as the towers that went down bottom and middle. That being said, a lot of it is, you know, the fact that it's not ticking back upward is largely due to EHOME just grouping up. So EHOME is going to be heading mid, looking to set up a team fight here. Are they going to go? Are they going to commit to a push? Is the question. They only have a limited window to do it. They can't sit and siege mid because Burning is pushing very quickly. I'm not sure how they're... Oh, that was the tier 2. Yeah, tier 2 will go down, so a free tower being sacrificed. But hey, they're fine with that. Roshan's not going to be up for a couple of minutes here. And meanwhile, Bernie is pushing top into the base. Very much like an anti-mage with a Battle Fury. Morphling at this stage of the game can just push as far as he wants. And he's very, very hard to bring down. Sells the ring to Basilius. Bernie, what are you going to buy, my friend? It is a completed Manta style. Pretty baller item purchase there. It looks like kingj opting for a vitality booster. Going for a little bit of a more tanky style. And I think in general EHOME should look to tank up because they're up against a lot of burst damage. As well as sort of a one-shot wonder lineup from the Dire. Aside from the Morphling, there's no sustainable damage. You know, you've got the Sandkid Epicenter, that's a one big shot, and then that's it. Echo Slam, H Apparition, all these heroes are kind of, you know, they drop their one big combo, their big team fight ult, their stun, and if they don't kill you during that, that's it. You couple that with the BKBs, it's going to be hard for DK to bring anyone down. As well as the Talisman of Evasion, so pure tankiness being sought after and claimed by kingj. I should probably bring up the items again, see if there's any other big purchases. Nothing from MMY. Sitting on 3,300 gold. Maybe he'd go for some damage at this point. I guess they need a pipe. Yeah, they need a pipe. Pretty bad. I mean, they have a lot of BKBs, but still. Just the Morphling alone is so much burst nuke damage. As well as just the spammable nukes in the Dire are pretty significant. EHOME getting juked out a little bit there by a Burning Illusion. EHOME it feels very tentative for them. Like they know they should fight, but they can't find an opening. That's how it seems to me right now. Of course, this is forcing Burning to stay with this team for the moment, but Replicate is back up. Expect to see him leaving the group momentarily. Maybe not. Alright, we'll check our gold graph again. It's very even. XP. That difference is meaningless at this stage of the game anyway. Bernie now hitting the 300 CS mark. He's starting to get out of control. DK looking for Roshan to respawn. In fact, it does almost immediately. Nice job by them writing that out, timing it out. Bernie is not there though, and while this is happening, EHOME is in position if they want to take a fight at Roshan. DK, realizing they don't have a counter wards up, is going to play this one pretty safely. Bernie's in another 1,500 gold. Not sure what you go for at this point. I guess a butterfly. Could be a heart, but I feel like with the BKB as well as the Manta style, as well as the Ethereal Blade, you've got survivability up the wazoo. So this is that stage of the game where in a Chinese match, or in a Chinese Dota particularly, both teams just sort of have a standoff around Roshan. Then there's one big team fight. Whoever wins that team fight wins the game. At least if it's a very one-sided fight. I guess one thing worth noting here as I take a look at QQQ is he's only level 15. They really, you know, I expect they'd like to have his ult up at level, you know, at the level 3 status for the next fight. Also interesting that he's opted for more points and stats over maxing that Midnight Pulse. I mean, I would figure either you just get 1 point in it or you max it, but hey, you know, it makes sense to tank up a little bit. He's still quite squishy. Can easily be one-shot comboed if he gets stunned and is not able to pop that BKB. Cheryl Grave might have something to say about that. Burning pressuring in the middle lane. I mean, EHOME has to make a decision here. Are they going to fight? Are they going to trade a base tower? In fact, they have to back now. They're just going to lose racks for nothing. Do they have TPs? 1 TP.
Radiant structures
or no TP on him, but I heard one. Does nobody have a TP? Okay, they have a couple. Great play by Burning. Sure, the tower's deniable, but this is going to force everyone back. Immediate transition into the Roshan pit. Now they're fighting without Cupid Cat. Even if he gets back into the fight, he's not going to have his sprint up. Oh, it's not going to be enough, though. DK is going to be forced to back off. In comes kingj leading the way. No web up, and this is not a great situation for a broodmother. Oh, blink in from Slardar as well as the Slither cuts. Huge black hole and 4 heroes. Meteor as well. Oh my god, Echo Slam in on Zippo doing what he can. 2 kills being claimed by EHOME instantaneously. Completely dominating that fight. Great initiation. And Burning can do nothing but run away. I mean, sure, morphling is strong in this stage of the game, but he's just not strong enough. There's too many VKVs, too many stuns. EHOME should be able to transition right into the Roshan pit. Indeed, they're looking to. Wow, that initiation onto the high ground was just picture perfect. Start with the Slardar and then immediately QQQ with that massive 4-man black hole. Crucially caught the Vengeful Spirit, who was not able to do anything. In terms of canceling that enigma ultimate. So it's still about a 2,000 difference in favor of the Dire. In spite of that fight going so poorly, it actually did not mean a Roshan. It did force a buyback from the Earthshaker. Did anyone else buy back? Well, Burning got away, we saw that. I guess DK's still in it. You know, normally if you win a fight like that at Roshan, you can turn it into an Aegis. And I believe this, yeah, this should be the 3rd Roshan. So it'd be a cheese as well. Close game. Very ballsy move here by DK. They do have a ward that spots Enigma. They smoke into the Roshan pit. I don't think they all need to be in here. Honestly, Burning can solo this. Maybe just the bench to help him out with that R. Down the Roshan goes. There was a cheese, and it goes the way of RRTK. Well, that was a big play by DK. A risky one, to be sure. But they knew the black hole was down. And that's crucial in these team fights, having that up. So not too risky. Still a little bit. I mean, that was not the safest Roshan attempt ever. Burning going to be farming up even more. What will he go for next? The world is his oyster. Maybe Boots of Travel at this point. I really love late game Boots of Travel and Morphling. Because not only it gives you just another way to move around the maps. You've already got Waveform, you've got Replicate, and now you have Boots of Travel. I mean, you can have the Replicate as an escape mechanism and Boots of Travel in to push a lane. You can also do it the other way around. That's a little bit riskier to rely on your Boots of Travel to get you out. But just so many mobility skills on such a strong pushing hero. And it's not like anyone can solo the Morphling at this stage of the game. At best, they can drive him back. I mean, Broodmother can do okay versus him. Slardar can't handle him. Invoker can do a little bit, but not enough. Nobody can really stand toe-to-toe to Morphling, so if he's very mobile, he can often either force multiple TPs back or pick someone off. No TP up on ROTK. Because of that cheese, he's going to kill a couple of Eidolons here. Looks like EHOME wants a pick off on Burning, but Burning is going to pop the match style. And it's going to be very tough to kill him twice, as DK immediately migrates up. This is like classic 4 protect 1 kind of game. They actually popped the smoke at a little bit of an unusual location there. Could have been spotted by a standard rune ward, but there was none, so they will be okay. That's just the Broodmother illusion, guys. Nothing's gonna die here. Well, I say that, DK is looking for the opportunity. Black Hole has cooled down during this time. Could be a game changer. I mean, if they win another big fight like that, I guess there's not. It's gonna be hard. It's a Morphling with an Aegis, a Sankey with the cheese. Oh, a nice black BKB! Excuse me, by QQQ. BKB counter BKB by RTK. Wait for it, black hole just for RTK. Swap out, immediately cancel. Completely wasted black hole, and that could be the fight going the other way. Deafening Blast is going to pick off that Earthshaker. Will it be enough though? I'm not sure. Will Burning is getting hexed up, and he goes down once. I doubt he'll die again though. I don't think he used his BKB yet. Oh, he did actually. Wow, but Super picking up a couple of kills. kingj, man, that nuke damage hurts. It's gonna be okay for now. No, he's not! Thorough Strike blink in from ROTK. Should be enough to pick up the kill. So many BKBs this game. And why it's gonna go down to just the army of Morphling illusions being buffed up by that Venge. Gotta credit longdd for its fantastic positioning in that fight. Staying very far back. It's only a level 2 swap, and what a time to pause, I gotta say. I mean, sure, it's not in the middle of a team fight, but man. Well, it gives me a chance to catch my breath. It's hard to even know what that was in the end. Was that a 3 for 2? Buyback by Invoker. I think someone else bought back. Oh, Enigma. Yeah, he bought back immediately. One of the downsides to running here like Enigma in a long game is black hole just has such a long cooldown. And even if you hit a good black hole, if they have Aegis, if they have cheese, if they buy back, suddenly you're a walking ranged creep who has a mediocre stun. I mean, that's really all Enigma is. Courier actually dies. No idea where that happened. DK looking to breach high ground here. Swamp in on QQQ. He just fought back. He's not going to have another buyback. Yeah, he's down for a while now. What will DK do with this opportunity? They did blow the Aegis in the last fight. And Sandking actually blew the cheese and died. So I guess you want to say that's a slight advantage to DK in terms of gold. But, I mean, EHOME will definitely take that trade. Still, I feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel here for EHOME. If the black hole is better, they have a chance. But it all comes down to the black hole at this stage of the game. And the BKBs are, you know, they've got one on the Sandking, you've got one on the morphling. Sure, you can hold them in place, but you're not going to be doing any damage to them. Or at least not very much. Any other interesting item progressions? I don't think so. I'm guessing Brood is getting... kingj not that close to the butterfly. And frankly, it wouldn't really matter because I mean, we saw in the last fight, most of the damage that's affecting kingj is that Ethereal Blade, as well as the Adaptive Strike. What will Bernie buy next? Maybe it's time to think about Divine Rapier.
Invisibility.
I'm sure we won't see one. I believe the only team who consistently does that is Absolute Legends. And I cast a game with Lumi where they almost lost it. Like, they dropped the Divine Rapier, but then their stand-in Earthshaker picked it up at the last second. I don't think we'll see a Divine. I'm just saying, like... I guess he can just go for something like an MKB, maybe crits, maybe Satanic, maybe Butterfly. I mean, some sort of standard item. That wouldn't be too bad. EHOME is smoked up top, but Burning with that great map sense is going to be fine. I say that, he'll probably run right into the fight. Looks like he should be okay for now. Gold graph hovering steadily around 3,500. The XP graph, I don't even know why I'm checking it. It's meaningless at this point. Everyone is level 16 or higher. Blink it on Burning! Oh, he gets hexed immediately. This should be the death of Burning. And does he have buyback immediately? I say does he? Yes, he does. And he buys back immediately. So, hey, that answers the question of what he's going to be buying. Nothing for now. I mean, he should at least buy something. Either an Eagle Horn, a Reaver. Because the buyback is on cooldown for a very long time. EHOME did use a smoke for that yank, so they were not going to have another one available from on. Another pause, lots of lag. I'm actually going to fast forward again. Okay, and we are back. So you didn't miss anything, guys, just a pause. DK heading aggressively into the Radiant jungle here, looking to set up something, but they know EHOME was top, so, I mean, I guess their thinking is this is an opportunity to get good positioning up in the enemy jungle, and indeed, they might have it. We'll have to see how EHOME plays, but it looks like they feel that they're on the back foot, or they're afraid to leave the base. Of course, the lanes are being pushed very aggressively by DK, which is giving them full map control. I wonder, will DK wait for the 4th Roshan? I mean, I suppose it couldn't hurt. And this is a Chinese Dota game, so it would not surprise me. That would be the safe thing to do. Burning continues to farm his way to victory. He bought something. It's probably an eagle horn. Oh, it's... What? Did he sell something? What the hell, man? I guess some of the parts were sitting on the courier. Because he definitely did not farm 2,500 gold in a minute. Although this is burning, I suppose anything's possible. But yeah, he must have had some of the parts in the courier. So wow, burning with a butterfly. At this point, there's really only one more thing he can do, which is buy boots of travel. Because he's going to want to have a slot in his inventory for that Aegis. So burning's almost maxed out. DK playing so both teams really just very cautious, very respectful of their opponent's ability to get a smoke gank off and turn the game. 5-man jungling here at the moment. I mean, hey, everyone has their core items at this stage of the game, right? So it makes sense. I mean, sure, you'd love to have a Hex on every support, but that's really not going to matter when there's so many BKBs. Also not going to happen anyway. Speaking of Hexes, Ancient Apparition does have one. But at this stage of the game, it really just comes down to if anyone dies and they don't buy that, that's probably going to be game for your team. So DK has written down the Roshan time. I guess he's respawning soon because they're scouting it out. No, he's not. I think it is still another minute or two. Burning going to do some neutrals here. Team jungling at its finest. Oh, and another reason that lanes are pushed, which I didn't mention earlier, is the AA ulti. Very nice thing to have late game. It will do a good job of, murdering those creep waves. Especially you saw the range creeps there just instantly die. And that'll help keep the lanes pushed out. So that plus burning, with his mobility and his just raw right-click tower. Forcing EHOME to play defensively here. Butterfly is up on the broodmother. Anyone else picked up any big items recently? Boots of travel and this dazzle. I mean, it is... At this point, the farm is not that impressive. It was a lot more impressive when he had everything except for the boots of travel at like 30-ish minutes. But he's still quite farm. And I said, EHOME picked a very XP and farm-dependent lineup. But they've gotten, they've been out of that hole for a long time. Everyone's got their levels, everyone's got their farm. Everyone's got their basic items up. Still just about 3,000 gold up on MMY. kingj gonna be popping that med cell just to push out the lane. I guess we'll go for heart next, that would be the assumption. The issue is a brood with no BKB is really, or with the ult down, just doesn't do anything in that fight. Especially if you're not in the webs. And it's hard to have the webs up in position for a team fight. Let's say it's around Roshan. You're probably only going to have time to place one web, so you put it somewhere like in this area. I need to remember to use that feature more, by the way. Because it's really awesome. I mean, drawing on the map is just so good. X marks the spot. Yeah, but even if you put a web right around here, they really mistimed this. Normally you don't see a pro team check it, because they were checking it like 2 minutes ago. And he's still not up. But DK just wanted to make absolutely sure they don't miss a Roshan opportunity. Oh, might see initiation on the middle lane. No, EHOME is... That's the closest thing you get to excitement in a late stages of a Chinese game usually. Aside from those game-deciding team fights, is the potential for one. Oh man, Roshan just melting. Burning just does too much damage. Cheese will go the way of rotk. Still got that gem and a ghost scepter. The Forge Spirits attempted to sort of deal with that, but not gonna be enough. Okay, so the question for DK is, how do they win this game? Because I want to say they have the advantage now. I think most people would agree they do. I mean, not only gold. The morphling is really, really farmed at this point. I mean, this is pretty much as farmed as he's going to get. So they certainly don't want to go later, If you let everyone on EHOME max out, I would say it swings back the other way. And they don't want to. In fact, they're going for high ground right now. This will be the game right here. The tower goes down to a burning illusion. Replicate as well as the mantle is CG'd up, forcing a glyph, in fact. as well as a Chaos Meteor. They want to save that for the team fight. They're not going to get it. EHOME looking to sort of do a side swipe here on DK. DK is going to wisely back off. In fact, it's a full long retreat. But hey, I think they got what they came for. They did some damage to the racks. They forced a glyph. They got the tower. So now the next goal is, you know, now that you've got the glyph to pop, if you're burning, you want to try and, you know, either you win a fight, which of course they can hope to do with the Aegis and the Cheese, or the other way you can try to win is, you know, the glyph's down. Burning can backdoor pretty effectively, or just push a lane into the enemy base, catch them maybe without TP scrolls. A lot of ways for them to do it. Looks like KJ was just using the web for a little bit of vision to D-ward. I gotta say, the Slardar's farm has really struggled. And yes, I guess this is part of the issue when you have... I don't think it's because they have too many farmers, though. I think it's because you just spent so much time running around with the team. In fact, all of EHOME's done that. Only 143 CS. For a Slardar, yeah, he didn't have a great farm early game. But in the mid game, there was plenty of time for him to get farmed. Now, he's got his core items up, but you would love to see an Assault Cuirass on him at this point. Maybe another Vitality booster working towards a heart. Or an armlet, you know, something just to tank up a little bit more. Crucially, longdd has hit level 17, so that's a level 3 swap. And if we just take a look at the range of level 3 swap, it is absolutely nutso. I mean, there's just... it's very hard to get a black hole off at this stage of the game. The only way you're going to do it is if you counter-initiate. I mean, I think if you try to go in first, there's just no chance. Burn? Oh man, Eye of Skady sold the Ethereal Blade, but an Eye of Skady does have the... okay, there we go. It makes sense, right? Because you're up against a lot of BKBs, so you're not going to be able to banish people. They do have... I mean, I guess the self-banish is nice for, you know, not taking the magical damage. Or not taking the physical damage. But at this stage of the game, you want to be auto-attacking, so the Ethereal Blade is kind of working against you. And the BKBs are going to negate a lot of its power. Deafening Blast dropped there, as well as the Meteor, but a great Meteor instantly cleaned up the creep wave. Why do I keep on hearing an Avalanche? Is anyone else hearing that? Or am I just... I am confused. I feel like I'm hearing Avalanche. There's no Tiny in this game, but I'm hearing Avalanche. Oh, anyway. I did not have my morning coffee, so that may explain part of my confusion. Burning just sitting here. Of course, what DK can do, because they have such a farm morphling, is they don't even have to be in the front lines. Burning can do it all by himself, and EHOME cannot initiate on him, because if they do, he's got the Aegis. He's impossible to kill anyway. Oh, Super on the high ground. Super, bad positioning. He might pay for it. The Fissure doing nothing. Super going down. He will buy back. He will have the ult if he needs it. Will Burning get any kills? He just used the BKB. No, he will not. And is anyone else going to go down is the question. RTK was up in the high ground. Nice black hole. Swap instantly canceling. Great positioning by longdd. Echo Slam. Pretty good by Zippo. Burning died and... oh, no, sorry, no, he didn't buy back. Enigma bought back. Triple kill for Burning. That should be Rax. Only a Dazzle down, but crucially, there's no black hole. Man, I'm overusing that word. Yeah, crucially, there's no black hole up. DK can immediately rotate bottom. I think that will be the game, folks.
Bottom tower is under attack.
The AA's position was bad, but hey, it wasn't AA. No, it's not over yet, perhaps. The Meatball doing a lot of damage there. Burning instantly giving that Invoker as well as the Slardar. Oh man, Burning is gargantuan at this point. Holy crap, look at that agility. Yeah, and that, my friends, should be the game. As LeBron James, he's seen enough. He's got an NBA Finals to win. GG's coming out from EHOME. Indeed, it was a very good game. So that's going to do it. Our final gold graph, of course, heavily in favor of DK. What a performance by DK. I really thought EHOME could have played better. Or like they had the advantage in the mid game with those 4 BKBs. Felt they could have just pushed to victory. I'm going to pause as soon as I get the final scoreboard up here. And then we'll talk about how sort of the overall flow of the game. Right. So looking back on it, EHOME, there was a stage of the game where they had a BKB up on the slardar, as well as a blink on the enigma, and a BKB on the enigma, a BKB and a manta on the brood, a BKB on the invoker. That was their time to fight. I mean, they let burning get farmed enough where, I mean, not only was he impossible to kill anyway, he didn't care that people had BKBs. He didn't even have the ethereal blade in that last fight. He just right-clicked everyone. And that's the power of a morphling in the late game. I mean, he can just right-click you. Comes a point where he doesn't need to rely on that ethereal blade for the nuke damage. And he had long since passed that point. The other issue was they were on that one fight at Roshan where they lost it. They lost the tower mid. They lost the tower bottom. They lost all ability to control Roshan engagements. And you saw DK just easily took Roshan time after time. Next to that Vengeful Spirit, passive, plus the Mind's Armor, plus the Morphling, just hitting really hard. It super actually had an ethereal blade at the end there. That's pretty cute. I did not catch that. Man, that makes A ulti really hurt, huh? But in the end, I mean, that fight was really what turned the game. And in my opinion, EHOME should have pushed a little bit earlier. And then after they sort of lost map control, they played so passively. I mean, I felt like they maybe should have just taken the risk of farming on their own, because grouping up as 4 while Morphling free farms every lane and the enemy team is getting better farm than you. I mean, you're sort of conceding the game, right? Or you're making it very difficult for yourselves to win. But really well played by DK. I got to give a lot of credit to Burning. I mean, this is what Bernie is known for. He will find the farm no matter what. Ending the game with 543 last hits, which is, let's see, 60-minute game. Not quite 10 per minute. I guess it's about 9? A little under. No, it's right about 9 per minute. Pretty amazing stuff. And hey, that's Bernie for you. He can have 2 per minute for the first 20 minutes, and he'll have 9 per minute by the hour mark. Imagine if they didn't slow down this farm that much. Still, EHOME looked pretty strong. It was an interesting choice by them not to pick anyone who's scaled really well in the late game. It was a pretty greedy lineup, and I guess in the end, they just had too many heroes that needed the farm. And even though they got some farm, nobody got explosively farm. I guess the closest thing to that was the Brood. In the end, it was not enough. So, guys, that's going to do it for this commentary. I know I've been very delinquent in uploading more, but I promise you I will at least upload 2 or 3 a week. And then hopefully, looking forward, I'll be doing a lot more than that. So stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated on Facebook and YouTube. Or, excuse me, on Facebook and Twitter to let you guys know what my schedule's looking like, if I'm going to be doing any live casting. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe if you did. If you had any feedback, as always, leave it for me in the comments, and I'll be happy to consider it. So that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, guys.